Welcome to month 7 of the Tech Lead track, Team Leadership Mastery. We're entering phase 2 of your journey. Phase 1 was about you as an individual contributor stepping into leadership. Phase 2 is about you as a leader of people. This is where the real work begins. Today we'll cover 4 major areas: team dynamics, engineering culture, psychological safety, and change management. These aren't soft skills, they're the hardest skills you'll ever develop. Here's our roadmap for the next 4 hours. Hour 1 focuses on high-performance team dynamics, understanding where your team is and where it needs to go. Hour 2 is about engineering culture, the invisible force that shapes everything your team does. Hour 3 tackles psychological safety, the single most important factor in team performance. And Hour 4 covers leading change, because the only constant in tech is change. Each hour includes lecture, assessment, and practical workshop time. You'll leave today with real deliverables for your actual team. By the end of today, you'll be able to build and sustain high-performing engineering teams. You'll establish team culture and engineering values that actually stick. You'll navigate team dynamics and resolve conflicts constructively. You'll create psychological safety in your technical teams, and you'll lead through organizational change with confidence. These aren't abstract goals. Each one maps to a deliverable you'll create today. Let's take a moment to reflect on Phase 1. Over the past 6 months, you've developed skills in strategic architecture, people management, project delivery, cross-functional leadership, advanced tech leadership, and executive communication. Now Phase 2 shifts the focus. Phase 1 was about building your personal leadership toolkit. Phase 2 is about scaling that impact through your team. You'll move from "how do I lead" to "how do I build a team that leads itself?" The next 6 months cover team leadership, architecture decisions, technical debt, team scaling, engineering metrics, and stakeholder engagement. Today's session is the foundation for all of it. Tuckman's model is the most widely used framework for understanding team development. Every team goes through these 5 stages. The question is where your team is right now. In the forming stage, team members are polite, cautious, and dependent on you for direction. Your role is to be the director, provide clear goals, structure, and expectations. Storming is where conflict emerges. Power struggles, frustration, pushback on boundaries. This is uncomfortable but necessary. Your role shifts to coach, facilitate resolution, listen actively, and don't avoid the conflict. Norming is when cohesion builds. Agreements form, trust deepens, shared norms develop. You become a facilitator, enable collaboration, and step back gradually. Performing is the goal. High productivity, autonomy, mutual accountability. The team solves problems without your intervention. Your role is delegator. Remove obstacles and celebrate wins. Adjourning happens when the team transitions. Members move on, projects end. Your role is to celebrate accomplishments, capture knowledge, and transition well. Where is your team today? Not where you want it to be, where it actually is. This grid gives you a practical way to assess your team's maturity across 5 dimensions: communication, decision-making, conflict resolution, accountability, and innovation. For each dimension, rate your team on a scale from dependent to interdependent. Dependent means the team relies heavily on you. Independent means individuals work well alone. Interdependent means the team collaborates effectively without you. A team that's dependent in communication but independent in decision-making has a specific development path. This assessment helps you identify exactly where to focus your leadership energy. These questions reveal the gap between your intentions and your impact. How often does your team disagree with you in public? If the answer is rarely, that's a warning sign. When was the last time someone on your team admitted a mistake to you? If you can't remember, that's a problem. Do you know what motivates each person on your team? Not what you assume motivates them, what actually does. How do you handle underperformance? Do you address it directly or hope it resolves itself? When was the last time you asked your team for feedback on your leadership? The goal isn't to have perfect answers, it's to know where you need to grow. Culture isn't ping-pong tables or team lunches. Culture is what happens when you're not in the room. It's the decisions your team makes when no one is watching. 5 pillars support a strong engineering culture. Technical excellence means code quality and best practices aren't negotiable. Continuous learning means growth mindset and knowledge sharing are expected. Ownership means end-to-end responsibility. You build it, you run it. Collaboration means cross-team cooperation is the default. Customer focus means user-centric thinking drives decisions. The question isn't whether your team has a culture. It does. The question is whether it's the culture you want. Values aren't what you write on the wall. Values are what you tolerate. Strong values have specific behaviors attached. If ownership is a value, what does that look like in practice? Does it mean responding to production alerts, writing runbooks, reviewing your own PRs? The behaviors define the value. Weak values are generic. We value excellence means nothing without specific anti-patterns. What does not excellence look like? Shipping without tests, skipping code review, ignoring tech debt. For each value you define, write 3 things: the value itself, 3 specific behaviors that demonstrate it, and 3 anti-patterns that violate it. That's how values become real. Let me share 3 real-world culture transformations. The first is a team that moved from hero culture to team culture. One developer was the bottleneck for everything. They implemented pair programming, knowledge-sharing sessions, and bus factor documentation. Within 6 months, no single person was a bottleneck. The second is a team that shifted from fear of failure to learning from failure. They introduced blameless postmortems, celebrated good catches, and tracked learning velocity alongside delivery velocity. Incident response time dropped 40%. The third is a team that went from siloed expertise to collective ownership. They rotated on-call duties, implemented cross-team code reviews, and created shared documentation standards. Team satisfaction scores doubled. The common thread? Culture change requires specific, repeatable practices, not speeches, systems. Amy Edmondson defines psychological safety as a belief that one will not be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. Google's Project Aristotle found this was the #1 predictor of team performance, above talent, resources, or structure. Let that sink in. A safe team of average performers will outperform an unsafe team of stars. Here's the paradox for tech leads. Your power suppresses the very candor you need. People filter what they say to you. They tell you what they think you want to hear. You must actively counteract this dynamic. Psychological safety is not being nice. It's not avoiding conflict. It's not lowering standards. It's creating the conditions where honesty is safe. Notice the 4 levels. Level 1, people stay silent. Level 2, people speak only when asked. Level 3, people raise concerns. Level 4, people challenge ideas vigorously. Most teams are at level 2. The goal is level 4. Let's get concrete about what psychological safety looks like in practice. Healthy signs. Questions are welcomed, not judged. Mistakes are discussed openly, not hidden. Ideas are shared freely, not hoarded. Disagreement is encouraged, not punished. Experimentation is supported, not feared. Warning signs. Fear of asking questions. Blame culture. Ideas dismissed or stolen. Silent agreement. Risk aversion. Here's the test. Watch your next team meeting. Who speaks? Who stays silent? When someone disagrees with you, what happens next? When someone makes a mistake, how is it discussed? The leader sets the tone. If you react defensively to criticism, your team learns to stop criticizing. If you punish mistakes, your team learns to hide them. Let's build your playbook. Start with leader behaviors. First, model vulnerability. Share your own mistakes and what you learned from them. When you don't know something, say so. Second, respond to mistakes with curiosity, not judgment. Ask what can we learn, not who did this. Third, invite dissent explicitly. Say I want to hear why this might not work, and mean it. Fourth, separate the person from the idea. Critique ideas vigorously. Respect people unconditionally. Fifth, follow through on feedback. When someone speaks up and nothing changes, they learn that speaking up doesn't matter. For team practices, start meetings with a check-in. Use round robin to ensure everyone speaks. Implement blameless retrospectives. Create anonymous feedback channels for sensitive topics. The key insight: psychological safety is built in small moments, not big gestures. Every interaction is a deposit or withdrawal from the trust account. Change is inevitable in tech. New technologies, new processes, new team structures, new business directions. The question isn't whether change will happen, it's whether you'll lead it or be dragged by it. Most change initiatives fail not because of the technical challenge, but because of the human challenge. People resist change because change threatens their competence, autonomy, and belonging. Your job as a tech lead is to address those threats directly. Make the case for why change is needed. Involve people in shaping the change. Provide support during the transition. The framework we'll use is Kotter's 8-step model. It's been used by thousands of organizations, and it works because it respects the human side of change. Here are Kotter's 8 steps. Step 1. Create urgency. Make the status quo feel riskier than the change. Share data, customer pain, competitive threats. Step 2. Build a guiding coalition. Assemble a cross-level group of believers. Include skeptics. Their objections strengthen the plan. Step 3. Form a strategic vision. Make it concrete enough that anyone can explain it in 60 seconds. Connect it to daily work. Step 4. Enlist a volunteer army. Communicate the vision broadly. Let people opt in. Volunteers beat conscripts every time. Step 5. Enable action by removing barriers. Tools, permissions, process, time. Ask the team. They know exactly what's in the way. Step 6. Generate short-term wins. Plan for a visible win in weeks, not months. Celebrate publicly. Momentum is everything. Step 7. Sustain acceleration. After the first win, resist declaring victory. Use credibility to tackle bigger changes. Step 8. Institute change. Anchor new behaviors in culture, hiring, promotions. Show the connection between new behavior and team success. Here's the reality check. You won't control all 8 steps. Focus on steps 1, 5, and 6, the ones where your direct authority has the most leverage. Partner with your manager on the rest. Communication is the make or break element of any change initiative. First, identify your audiences, your team, your peers, your manager, stakeholders. Each audience needs different messages. Second, craft key messages for each audience. What's changing? Why now? What does it mean for them? What support is available? Third, choose channels and timing. Big changes deserve face-to-face conversations, not Slack messages. Timing matters. Don't drop bad news on Friday afternoon. Fourth, prepare for the top 10 questions. If you can't answer what's in it for me for each audience, you're not ready to communicate. Fifth, create feedback loops. Change isn't a one-way broadcast. You need mechanisms for people to ask questions, raise concerns, and share feedback. The golden rule: over-communicate. What feels like too much repetition to you feels like the first time to someone who's worried about their job. Your challenge this month has 4 deliverables, each worth 25 points. First, a team dynamics assessment. Profile your team, identify the Tuckman stage with evidence, analyze key individuals, assess health indicators, and recommend 3 improvement areas. Second, a culture values document. Write a vision statement. Define 4 to 6 core values with behaviors and anti-patterns. Describe rituals and practices, and outline accountability mechanisms. Third, a psychological safety playbook. Assess your current state. Identify 5 to 7 leader behaviors you'll model. Define team practices, and create recovery protocols for safety breaches. Fourth, a change communication plan. Describe an upcoming change, analyze stakeholders, plan your communication strategy, and outline support resources. Use real team situations. Be honest, growth requires self-awareness. Focus on actionable, specific recommendations, and test your change communication with a trusted colleague before sharing with the team. Let's close with the key takeaways from today. Your team has a culture, whether you shape it or not. Psychological safety is the foundation of team performance. Change leadership requires specific, repeatable practices, and your role is shifting from doing the work to enabling the work. The hardest part of leadership isn't the technical challenges, it's the human challenges. But that's also where the most impact lives. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. you have to be intentional. Every interaction with your team is an opportunity to build trust, model vulnerability, and create the conditions for high performance. Go build something great, together.